'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. Oh, a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1510.
Woo!
March 26, 2025. 81 degrees was the record high on this day. That was in 2007. And it was 10 below on this day in 1996.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I've been a poor mayor.
Why?
I've let you down.
Fiduciary, like?
Well, not necessarily, but in the ice outs, I've missed some openings.
Ooh.
And the reason, well, there is no reason. 1878.
1878, quite some time ago.
Minnetonka went out on March 11th. But there have been other March openings, and I've neglected them. For example, in 1987, Minnetonka went out on March 21st. In the year 2000, Minnetonka went out on March 18. In 2012, Minnetonka went out on March 21. In 2016, Minnetonka went out on March 17. And White Bear, I know all your ponds are open, but we don't count those. White Bear went out in March. White Bear went out 24th of March in 1987. That would have been yesterday, right?
Yes.
White Bear went out on the 21st of March in the year 2000. And I apologize. I just feel ashamed that I've didn't incorporate this all throughout the month of March. I know how much you guys like it.
Well, you really let me down.
In 2012, White Bear went out on March 19. In 2016, White Bear went out on March 16. And in 2017, White Bear went out on March 23rd. And there are additional March openings, but now that I'm caught up, I can do it in the normal fashion that the constituents and residents of Gumption County have come to expect.
Okay.
Right. So
Most of them like them.
that's right.
Not all of them.
I'm hearing that a lot of lakes still have 20 inches on them, so it's
Seriously?
gonna be a while.
White Bear Lake, as of Monday, was significantly open, but not to the degree where you could have traveled from shore to shore. So it was not open.
I'm not asking this to be silly or dumb. Is there a part of the lake on White Bear that tends to hold its ice longer than other parts?
It would be the deepest part of the lake.
Okay.
Well, if Kenny's right, then that's bearing true because the east 25% of the lake is the deepest, and that still has ice.
Okay. Got it.
It's
That's
not a
enough for me.
deep lake, but that's where it's deepest. There's an 85-foot hole.
Oh, nice.
there, yeah.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
You know, in our absence, I'll just get the Walz material out of the way. I know that I'm trying. You know that he brings a wife with him on this tour, and she sits in a chair that would appear to be from somebody's living room.
And when she speaks at a school, she always knows
It's not
how
a
to
school.
pronounce
These
it.
are-
I know, but when she goes on the road, when she went to CDH, it was Creighton
Really?
every time she referenced the.
I didn't know they were at CD. Did they make a tour stop?
Not this year, but the last time she was there, I have it on good authority that it was Creighton.
Well, she's Daffy Duck.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I saw video of her speaking at this latest meeting that the governor had. I believe was in Rochester.
okay.
And at some point, apparently, prearranged or whatever, she gets the microphone.
Why is this?
And she was telling people that they better get their shoes ready. She wanted him to get new
Are
shoes.
we going walking?
Well, we're going to be walking those streets.
Okay.
And then she started saying something about, we're going to have the popcorn.
Hey.
You know.
Did she have a funny, remember
What
like
the
the turn
hell?
the page? Did she have a...
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, the turn the page nonsense.
Well, I do have a lot of people in the private school sector that are very, very nervous that work in the industry about him making these cuts.
Well, let me.
So when she comes on stage, is it kind of like it's time for a drum solo, and Tim will go backstage and have a quick drink and maybe a shot, and
No, he.
maybe kiss one of the
Freshen up.
groupies,
It's
and then
as
go
though-
back out there?
No, it's almost as though he's just smart enough to be wary of what she might say. So he hovers near her, ready to
So he
snatch
can go,
the microphone away.
Okay, honey.
Yeah, okay.
One of
We
those.
got it, Mom. We got it.
So-
And then, for example, when she starts talking about popcorn, he even had a quizzical look.
like,
Where's she going?
Where's Daffy going?
Where's she
with
going?
this
How is she
one?
going to link this?
Like Joe always asks, is this going to be a long story?
right.
You know who she reminds me of? She's so weird that she reminds me of the Hole in the Sky lady. One of those
Yes.
types of liberals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this?
You were going to look at the...
Just to get our Walz information. And he apparently has issued an apology of sorts for his Tesla remarks. And he spun it in a manner that suggests that it only fell flat because people don't have a sense of humor. Evil Republicans don't have a sense of humor. And he was joking. Well, no, he wasn't joking.
Does that also go for the Nazi comments that he made?
That's and then we'll also in a Gavin Newsom podcast, he offered to kick. I can kick most of their ass.
Right.
He didn't even use plural,
Right.
meaning MAGA type people. He can kick their ass. Well, sure enough, I was wondering how long this would take. It didn't take long. We have a GLer who's responding.
Oh, accepting the challenge?
Yeah.
Wants to get in the ring?
Well, he says, "Hail the Flashlight King."
Hail you.
As a person who identifies as a conservative, I just couldn't take it anymore. Last week, all I heard from our ex-educator governor, who evidently never learned to use the King's English, was to tell me how, and I quote, "think I could kick most of their ass." Given what he was talking about, I knew he was referring to how I identify, a conservative masculine male. Well, as they say, I gave the governor the opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. Here is the email I sent to the governor. Governor Walz, you recently made a statement, "I think I could kick most of their ass," when referring to MAGA Republicans. I am officially accepting your offer to kick my ass. Upon hearing back from you, I will set the time and location. P.S. I will even give you an advantage, as I will shorten the hose to my oxygen tank so you don't trip over it.
Very clever. Very clever.
Dan Janish wrote that. No, here, and it gave me a thought. If the governor was a guy, a real guy, and he's not, God help us, I don't know what he is, but he's not a real guy. He could raise a lot of money for charity.
Oh, wow.
He could, he could pull a Jesse and get in the ring.
Get the big oversized boxing gloves.
Yes,
the clown.
he could have a feel. He could have fun with this.
Yes.
And it would be all choreographed, of course, so
Right,
nobody'd get hurt.
right.
But in fact, you could be his opponent, for example.
I would
and you'd eat that
volunteer.
up.
I
You'd eat that up.
volunteer.
But he can't think like that. He's not a guy.
Right. And neither are apparently as people. Wouldn't you think they'd have some type of marketing people that would say, maybe let's try to run with it?
Well,
he goes off on his own and makes a fool of himself anyway.
Well, plus the irony is he thinks other people don't have a sense of humor. That whole crowd he's with has no sense of humor.
Zero sense.
They're the most hateful people.
Oh,
in the
they're
state.
just hateful and
Full of spite.
How about we show up at the fishing opener with boxing gloves on and the robe, the silk robe, the whole thing, and
The bling, the diamonds on the back, and
the great big foam fingers,
yes.
like we're ready to take them on.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the fishing opener. I'm not clear that he's responded yet or affirmed that he will attend.
Still?
Well,
And if he does, I wonder if Daffy goes with him.
She
in the
probably
boat?
needs her to protect him.
Yeah, right.
And I resaw, is that the right term?
You saw again.
Resaw?
I've never heard you say resaw.
I don't think
know if that's a word.
resaw is very good, is
It
it?
would mean you saw it once again, but resaw I've never heard.
I saw again the interview she gave on the George Floyd weekend, where she quite accurately, as we've reported, said she just left those windows open to smell that burning destruction.
I not only do I not believe her that she left the windows
she said
open,
that. No, I believe her. I believe it.
I believe that she maybe smelled it outside. I find it hard, unless of those windows that don't close at the mansion, at the residence.
You were mentioning earlier, Mr. Rookie, give us your concern again about private education.
Well, I have a one of my best friends from grade school, Tim Benz, is in that industry, for raising money for private schools, Catholic schools, private schools, and he expressed a concern to me. He said, "Hey, I'd love to come on and talk to Joe about it." He just had lunch with Zip the other day, and he could. I don't understand it. He could better explain it if you needed someone to better explain it.
Walz is doubling down on going after private schools. I'm reading an American Experiment piece. He has a revised budget proposal that eliminates all funding for non-public school students.
Right.
All funding. Which doesn't surprise me. He is aligned with Education Minnesota. He's not going to advocate private education.
No, that union doesn't want any money to go to
The
private
cuts
schools.
are labeled responsible reductions. This is by a guy who's never done anything responsible financially in his life, and I'm not
I
exaggerating.
know.
The cuts are labeled responsible reductions, but total less than 0.5%, 0.4% of E12 education's biennial budget. The funds are a vital resource for non-public schools and the students they serve, and were established under state statutes 50 years ago when the state committed to providing all students with access to fundamental education resources to promote equal education opportunity for every student in Minnesota. Non-public pupil education aid and non-public pupil transportation aid reimburse public school districts for providing instructional materials and support services to students attending non-public school, including homeschool, that operates within the district's boundaries, so that every school pupil in the state will share equitably in education benefits and therefore further assure all Minnesota pupils and their parents freedom of choice in education. Okay, doesn't it stand to reason that the Walz crowd would be cheering his decision to not fund the public school, the private schools?
Yes.
It seems that way.
These are the people that hold Tesla in contempt and anyone with a conservative thought in contempt. And to the crowd Walz plays to, they hold private schools in contempt.
The stereotype for private schools is everyone has money.
Which
but
is not true.
I would say 90% of those people make serious sacrifices to send their school children to non-public schools.
Well, they're going to get it. They're losing that. They're going to lose textbooks, instructional materials, standardized tests, all of which must be secular, of course, along with bus transportation and student support services such as health services and guidance and counseling. Let's see, what else can we say here? Walz decided to cut as a belt-tightening message that says the students educated outside of his preferred education vendor are not worth investing in because they aren't attending the right school.
Wow.
That's the words of the author, Katrin Wigfall.
All right.
But it is in the state's interest that K-12 education resources extend to all kids, not just those served by public school. Consider the state's future nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, individuals who graduate from a non-public school and will commit to serving the state, and yet under the governor's proposed budget, the investment in them will be zero. The Minnesota legislature should oppose the elimination of non-public pupil aid and non-public pupil transportation aid and support all students. 50 years ago, the legislature approved this aid to ensure equal access for all students to fundamental education resources, and the legislature needs to continue approving this aid, reminding non-public students they are every bit as valuable to this state as their public school peers. Well, I don't know how the legislature will go, but it does not surprise me at all that Walz and Mrs. Walz would frown, absolutely frown on private education. That would not be their cup of tea.
They're so motivated by spite.
Sure seems that way, doesn't it? I got to tell you something.
What are you telling us?
Well, I've told you about Precision Door.
Yeah.
That should be your garage door guy.
They are.
Okay, well, listen to this. This is from Steve Bobrowski. Gentlemen, I have found myself with some free time this morning during rush hour and... No, that's the wrong email.
There it is. Here's that one. The garage doors up.
Oh, that's
common
the
sense.
wrong one.
I kind of got the Barry White pipes. I don't have a full cold, but I do have...
allergies?
It's not allergies. I don't have a cough. I just have a runny nose, but nothing comes out.
I keep running to the hallway to sneeze and cough. So
I found
apologies
it.
to
I'm just
all
going
of
to do
you.
it on the show.
Quiet.
Huh?
Listening to Joe Reavers, Rookjohn, and Deep Creep has its rewards. Last Friday, while listening to GL, I turned into my driveway and hit the remote. My garage door only opened 3 inches. I hit it 3 times, 3 more inches every time. I called Precision Door at 2:03 p.m. I noted the time to see how long it would take for a repair guy to arrive. At 2:09, Adam and his Precision truck pulled into my driveway. That's 6 minutes after
That can't be.
That can't be. And I live in Prior Lake.
Are they
Amazing.
just trolling?
Well, they had to be in the area. They're good, but are they that good?
I don't expect...
Are they 6 minutes good?
I don't expect them to be 6 minutes
Are
good.
they 6 minutes good?
They must be.
Precision Door. 45 minutes later, I had 2 new springs, new bearings, new rollers, and even new light bulbs in my lift. He presented me the bill, which was the exact same as the estimate he gave me before beginning his work. I told him, I hear about you guys all the time on GL. And he said, well, then you get an $80 discount for being a listener. I didn't. When that guy came to my house and left his sunglasses, I told
you
him,
got was
hey,
a pair of sunglasses.
Hey, I'm the mayor.
Right.
I didn't get a discount.
Right.
He got an $80 discount for being a listener. Thanks for the $80, you guys. That's 3 cases of beer in Kenny's world. And thanks to Precision Door for a lifetime warranty on all their work. 80 more reasons to listen to the show. And then, following that, came one from Heidi.
What do you got on Heidi?
Heidi Negendorf. Garage door busted this morning. I called. They came. They fixed. I told the guy, you don't have to run back to the shop like Joe says, huh? He laughed and said, no, ma'am, we're done within 2 hours. No third rail for those boys. She doesn't mention the discount, but she got fixed up too. Put this number in your contacts for Precision Door MN, 612-263-6985, or go online at one word, precisiondoormn.com. that's too late for that.
There it is. No, perfect.
Have you all followed the idea that the editor of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, was in on a texting discussion of war plans in Yemen?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm really wrestling with that. Obviously, the Trump administration screwed up royally, and they're trying to deny it. And Hegseth said nobody was texting war plans. I got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
First of all, how did the editor, he's the editor of The Atlantic, which is an undeniably left-leaning publication, Jeffrey Goldberg.
Right.
So how was he in, what the hell was that all about, that he got included? Secondly, he's now releasing more of what he was privy to because he's combating the denials from the White House that he didn't hear anything.
So he's
And
backing
he said,
it up.
"Are you telling me? You kidding me? Here's what I heard. Here's what it was. Here's what was talked about." And he's texting it, or he's showing it.
But he's not revealing secrets, is
Yes, that's my question. My question is, below our text message, I'm reading from Axios. Below are the text messages that Hegseth sent to the group of 18 senior Trump officials last week, according to screenshots released by The Atlantic today. 12:15 Eastern Time, F-18's launch, first strike package. 13:45, trigger-based F-18 first strike window starts. Target terrorist is at his known location, so should be on time. Also, strike drones launch MQ-9. On and on and on. My question would be, and I don't know where to be on this. Maybe I'm naive. I'm very capable of naivete. Well, wouldn't Goldberg have an obligation to swallow his pride and say, you know, even though you morons, and you are morons,
Screwed up.
included me in this, I'm certainly not going to reveal any of it. And here he is revealing it.
Was this past tense, or was this going to be on March 31st?
Well, I think what he was privy to has already all happened.
Okay. Okay, that's a distinction then. I agree with you that he should not have revealed anything like that to prove his point that he was inside there. These guys obviously screwed up by adding him.
National Security Advisor Mike Walz was the one who invited Goldberg to the group chat.
We don't know why.
I don't know how or why. It seems so improbable that a close aide to Trump, it's fine with me that this could be real. We need more of this, but it seems improbable to me that a very close aide to Trump would be such friends with the far left editor of The Atlantic that he would have him so familiar on his phone that he either pressed the wrong button or included him on purpose to be in this chat.
That's an odd pairing.
And it was just over the cell phone, right? So it'd be just like the group chats that we have.
I don't
that are
think
so
it was. I
irritating?
don't think it was a Zoom call.
Yeah.
No,
I can't.
text message. I mean text message.
Yeah. But
were these weren't deep dark secrets that we're giving away, or war plans or anything, right?
Well, and past tense, I think.
wait. The Atlantic has conceded they were not war plans.
Okay.
Oh, so who's calling them war plans? The media?
Well, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is claiming that whatever Goldberg is doing is a hoax. I don't think what Goldberg is writing is a hoax. He was there. That's undeniable.
Okay.
He's not making up logistics and bombing runs. I'm reasonably certain he would not do such a thing.
You're saying it's more likely that they screwed up and added him than him making this out of whole cloth.
So
Yes.
you want this guy arrested?
Goldberg?
Is that where you're going? With
No,
this?
I don't know where I'm going, Kenny. I'm just put yourself in the same situation. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
I look on my phone, and I'm going to be part of a group chat talking about some military operations in Yemen. And then I look and I go, holy mackerel, they're going to do this at 2:15. They're going to do that at 3:15. I would probably shut up about it.
If you were a journalist.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, right. Because you're probably a good journalist.
But would you let them know? Hey, you guys really?
Absolutely, would I let them know?
Okay.
Absolutely. Right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would too. I would.
And I would take some glee in letting them know that I saved your
Hey,
sorry
dummies.
ass.
Yeah.
Why did you morons have me on your text chat?
Now, are there any grounds for a lawsuit or an arrest or anything like that? Can we throw this guy in Guantanamo
Like
for
espionage?
2-3
espionage
years?
charges?
Let him sit there for a while.
No,
Work on his tan?
No, I don't think that's.
Damn.
in the cards.
He does seem. I've seen him interviewed. He seems slightly arrogant.
No, but he's well.
Whoopi Goldberg.
He acted in a way that I personally would not have. I would have been. Hey, you guys. I'm owed an audience with Trump because I'm on your texting chat.
Right.
I'm not going to say a word, but I want an audience with Trump right now. That's what I'd get out of it, or try to get out of it.
When you say
You'd get
audience,
run
that
out of
makes
the
me
room.
nervous.
They'd laugh at you.
You say audience, it makes me nervous, like he's a king or something like that.
Okay, I want a meeting.
Okay, there we go. Better.
Yeah.
That's better.
Well, also, what has not been clarified is if the message were classified.
Yeah, that's where I was really hoping a visit from the FBI at the very least would happen.
So now you're drawing a thin line, which they're capable of doing, whether it's the truth or not, between highly sensitive and classified. Because
This is B stuff. This is B stuff.
They're admittedly highly sensitive.
Yeah. But it was just daily plans. It sounds like it wasn't an actual war plan or even war games.
Their first target, their top missile guy, we had positive ID of him walking into his girlfriend's building, and now it's collapsed, Walz wrote in a text addressed to Vance. But presumably Goldberg, sitting in the peanut gallery, he was able to read all these texts. Mm-hmm. He's the one now printing them. But he must feel that he's on very sound legal position to be able to print such a thing.
Right.
But the Wall Street Journal today had a good point, hectoring the Walz administration. Slow the hell down.
Walz, you mean Trump?
Trump. Same with Walz. The Wall Street Journal hectoring the Trump administration. Slow down. You're going to commit too many errors. And
slow and steady wins the race.
This might have been one of the most amateur things they could have come up with.
I don't know how they would sneak by with that. You'd think, regardless, that would be such a secure text, Zoom conversation that somebody obviously screwed up.
Well, no bleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't know who it is. But now, just go ahead and say, yeah, you know what? And that person's gone. And now a new person won't let that stuff slide by.
Those guys aren't used to working with incompetent people like we are. Huh?
True. That is so true. That's so true.
I guess the word I haven't used is, did Goldberg have an obligation to act out of patriotism?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I sound naive, but yeah, he did. He did have an obligation. And he did the opposite. It was a gotcha situation for him.
I think he saw it as a complete, he's already successful, but he saw it as a complete, the spotlight's on me, I'm going to run with this.
Well, he saw it as the scoop of his lifetime.
Well, and the incompetency of the Trump administration to include him.
Well, that's all I have on this, although we're releasing new text today from Goldberg, and I didn't know where to be with it.
But
I don't know where to be with it.
You calling it the scoop of a lifetime? He didn't do any legwork.
No,
at all
you're right.
to
You're right.
gain that scoop.
But,
he just sat there like a dummy.
Yeah, but he
Fell
was
into
the
his
guy
lap.
with his ear to the door when the AD named the new football coach, and that's how he treated it.
Yeah.
And he ran with it and printed it.
Yeah. And now he's patting himself on the back.
I don't know that he is, but I really, really am desperate for an explanation how this Mike Waltz, Waltz, how did it happen that you invited a guy who would be hands down one of the top 10 enemies in the country of Trump?
That's the question.
How did that happen?
Let's not forget that.
And of course, Trump's response was the typical childish response. Oh, that Atlantic's losing. They're a loser. Okay, Don, but that really has nothing to do with your boys screwing up.
Right.
Oh, it's just, what a bleep show we live in. It's just amazing.
They're
amazing.
losers. I know they were losers.
Losers.
'cause
Look
I
at
saw
their
that they were
circulation.
losers when I came in.
That's not the issue, sir. You like to be called sir. Sir, the issue is a guy from a magazine sat in as your top people planned their daily attack on Yemen. Because Yemen's been attacking boats in the, what is it?
Yeah.
Strait of
the Red
Gibraltar,
Sea.
whatever the hell
It's
it
not
is.
Gibraltar, Matt.
Up by St. Cloud.
The Walz administration, we're back.
All right.
They've introduced anti-fraud legislation. Apparently, one of the authors is Dave Pinto, a DFL legislator from St. Paul.
Might this be a
Apparently-
little too late?
Well, to me, this is the village burns down,
Right.
and the town fathers say, we should have thought about having a fire
Yeah,
truck.
right. Would have been a good idea, village master.
So here we go with the package of anti-fraud bills. And as I read them, I find nothing that's going to stop fraud. We're going to make sure our public programs are being supported and public dollars are going to people who need them. Well, Pinto, where have you been? We absolutely give state agents, what now? Making sure that our public programs are being supported and public dollars are going to people who need them and not going to people who don't, said Pinto. Absolutely giving state agencies to stop or withhold payments. He must have been the power to. I got an idea, and it's so simple. And I'm gonna dovetail that to another topic. Why don't we have some legislation that more carefully spells out the use or the granting of taxpayer money to nonprofits?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have dozens and dozens and dozens of nonprofits receiving public money? Why shouldn't it be a little more difficult for a nonprofit to get the money? They would need to present a full program. They would need to point out why it's a gap in the state funding, that the state doesn't cover what they're proposing, that they have these are our people who, and here are their backgrounds, and this is what we produce. Here's our building, and we're ready to go. We want to provide autism care, and here's the 3 doctors we have on board. Here's our licenses. Here's why we think you're failing to provide this information. And then if all that passes muster, you give them the grant money. And then the grant money is followed by provisions. We'll have our first checkup in 17 days. We'll have another meeting following that in 34 days. You will have a report for us on exactly where this money went. What?
Do you know? I'll tell you something. That's what grant writers do. Working for Second Stork, we have really good people that know how to do stuff. And they've got to go head over heels with their application to maybe the Schultz Foundation. Richard Schultz has been very generous to Second Stork, but they still require every year you have to, what are you going to do with the money?
I wouldn't wait a whole year.
But I mean, but why, for the government, why were they just able to send this in here and not have a full report and they get the money?
Matthew, does Second Stork benefit from governmental grants? Did they apply for and receive?
We usually go with private. We don't have any government grants.
Okay,
as far
good,
as I'm
because
concerned.
my answer to Joe's long question is, how about if we just cut off the grants altogether? Because what you just said, Joe, amounts to thousands of employees, thousands of tons of red tape and paperwork and computer time and just money spent chasing money. Why not just pull the plug?
I'd be glad to. I was trying to be charitable.
Yeah.
But
I'd be glad
did that,
to.
there are so many private companies and funds out there that have the money to provide the grants. It probably wouldn't make that big of a difference.
But let's keep everything in perspective here. These are people trying to buy a fire truck after the damage has been done. The town is burned down, and these are people coming in now saying, we think we should have some open communication about purchasing a fire truck.
This is a 30-second stint on TV news that they're doing this.
And they're deciding, should it have ladders and how long should the hose be? And I hope it has a nifty bell we can ring. But the point is, we didn't think we'd ever need a fire truck, but now our village is burned down and we need a fire truck.
But everything you mentioned there, all of those stopgap measures should have been there before they started doling out even 1 cent. All of that should have been covered.
There's a daycare provider, J. Cole's discovered, who lost his license or her license, whatever it is, to be a daycare provider in 2019 and has received almost $8 million since then.
Jeez.
Nice.
Well, let's continue to cast Minnesota in a unique. Let's not forget the unique context in which this is happening, because with each passing day, I become more convinced that it's been the plan all along for this administration to redistribute as much wealth as possible. And I'm not claiming they've done it illegally. They can apparently quite legally just issue wheelbarrows full of nonprofit money, but they didn't do any checking. That might have been the purposeful part. And then maybe even they had their fingers crossed that I hope all the people we gave our money to are honest, which was naive of them.
That's quite an
So
ask.
that money gets stolen, and now we come in and wrestle about getting a fire truck. The whole point of this Walz administration, and I feel more confident this in every day, is that this is intentional, not criminally intentional. It's apparently legal for the legislature to dole out these grants to nonprofits. Fine. But what was intentional was this casual and cavalier attitude that did not follow up and do any checking.
Right.
Because to those people with that ideology, they were much happier seeing marginalized people and people of color getting the money than they were interested in whether they were getting it honestly or not.
Right. 100%.
I don't know if I can go with you.
You don't have to. I'm there. I'm very comfortable being there.
I think it's mostly stupidity, Joe. I don't think they had evil intent. I think they're just dumb AF.
Now I've heard too much of Daffy Duck to think that this is all. What is it? Hanlon's razor.
Hanlon is never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity.
Okay, but this isn't malice. This is a real effort to make wealth more equitable. This is a real effort to take I mean, look at how casually and enthusiastically this guy dismissed Tesla that has a company in Brooklyn Park, which he didn't know about, apparently. Look how eagerly he did that, played it for laughs, he claims.
But
This is an administration that resents achievement. It has no time for it. And so if 2,000 Somali people each made a couple $100,000, so what? We look the other way. When we heard that 50,000 people a day were getting fed in Pelican Rapids,
Not anymore. We got this.
as part of your conspiracy, it involves just the Somalis, right? Do you think this would happen if they were Hmong or Native American or Indians from India or any other group?
well, you're painting me into a corner here.
Well, I'm not trying to accuse you. I'm trying to get on your side, and I'm trying to figure out how and why they're so amenable to giving millions and millions to just Somalis. You know, what's going on here with the DFL and Somalis? Should we be looking at that?
Of course. I think any race or nationality is certainly capable of fraud. I have said before about the Somalis is they're really good at it. Well, until they get caught.
And
They're very bold people.
And the Democrats seem to be very, very good at ignoring any sort of malfeasance or lying or thievery when it comes to Somalis.
What did Mohammad Saeed say?
I got
The chick's right-hand man. Who was the gal who took the fall here for feeding the future? They had Bach. Amy Bach. Remember what Saeed said? If you want to be in politics in this town, you got to go through the Safari restaurant. Said that last week.
Yep.
In court.
Right.
So, yes, there is an unholy alliance between the DFL and the Somalis. And I would imagine Ilhan Omar is very deeply involved. Omar Fateh is deeply involved. Somalis, they have a gift for this. They're extremely bold takers.
That's a good
Or
word.
is it
That's a good
something
word.
more? Are we still being too naive? Is there something more? What's going on here? Why this transfer of wealth to just that group?
Because I think you got the right guy in office to engineer a transfer of wealth.
Well, you have that right on. That's spot on.
You're getting me closer.
I mean, this
But
didn't
I need
happen under
proof.
Tim Pawlenty. This didn't happen under Mark Dayton.
Right.
This is only happening under this guy.
Right.
Maybe this happens in Sioux Falls, but I doubt it.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. If you're looking for a place to relocate or build a new business or expand, you might want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Business-friendly state, and Sioux Falls has got a population of 290,000 and growing. But the best part for business people is low business costs, high quality of life. No state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. They're hardworking people. They got, you know what they got? They got the most popular to move to vote.
They got it.
And they got 50 best places to live for families in Fortune magazine. And they welcome entrepreneurs. They appreciate hard work. They appreciate honest work, and they appreciate entrepreneurship. It's all one word. We're showing a video right now. A lot of construction underway in Sioux Falls. SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. That's one word, SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jenny, hey! Oh, yeah!
Did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed. My hair grows in my ears and nose now more than on my head. As a kid, to me, ancient history was something like World War I. But I arrived close to that time than this year as I sing this song. And I'm starting to find I can wrap my mind around life is brief and dear. I can hardly believe my baby girl's turned 26 this year. Oh, a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see everybody 100 years ain't what it used to be. Before you know it, you're 63, making plans for Medicare A and B. You look around yourself and you see
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
It's all hands on deck for ProTurf right now. All the men and women of ProTurf working full shifts right now. The irrigation teams out waking up systems. The landscape teams, they're already working their magic. And those hose draggers, we call them lawn care techs. Boy, they're doing a lot of business right now. They're doing the free in-person lawn reconnoitering for new clients because crabgrass and weeds are planning their evil return to your lawn. If you want the best lawn on the block, call these guys up, professionalturf.com. And I promise you, you will win. At the end of the season, you'll look back and go, wow, I can't believe my lawn looks this great. They've been doing this since 1982. You can do the math on that. It's a long dang time. Service techs that have been at it for 20 years or more, very loyal employees. And I bring that up because these service techs, they know your lawn. They'll get to know your lawn better than you will. And that's why they're already out there putting together these slow-release fertilizer and weed control plans. Environmentally safe, of course, and absolutely guaranteed for superior results. Results that mean No crabgrass, no dandelions, and certainly no broadleaf weeds. Get your own free lawn analysis. Click over to professionalturf.com.
Kenny, do you have in front of you the Alpha piece on a guy named Edwin Reed who had a business in the George Floyd neighborhood, 38th in Chicago, called Sincere Detailing Pros?
Yeah.
Now, I take it that's a car detailing place.
Yeah. Yep.
And he said his American dream has been ruined because of the incompetence surrounding George Floyd Square.
His what?
His American dream.
Okay.
He was averaging at his peak $390,000 a year.
That's all right.
Yep, and he had employees, and now he said, I've had to get rid of employees. I can't afford them, and on and on and on. I'm a hardworking individual. I grew up in the area. I grew up in Minnesota. He went to Washburn High School, class of 1998, saved all his money to start his business, and there's my printer left me short there. I believe he says he had to go into foreclosure. He's exactly the kind of person, it seems to me, that the city council in Minneapolis would have trouble identifying with.
Yeah. Yep.
Hardworking, native to the area, who graduated from a local high school,
Washburn. Yep.
saved his money, and opened a business of the type of business I would have frequented, detailing, and he had employees. And now nobody can get to him, or nobody could have gotten to him, or inconveniently got to him over the last few years. Gang troubles. He said he's witnessed 6 murders. 2 people died in his arms. And nothing's happened there, of course, because of the intractability of the city council. They've spent more than $5 million coming up with a variety of pie-in-the-sky ideas for 38th in Chicago. I made it a point to visit there during one of our days off. I was in the area. I do some other errands over there, so I made sure I went through 38th in Chicago, and it's worse now than I remember it ever being.
Yeah. He leveled an accusation that I had, until reading this article, had not read. Let me just read this to you. We are barricaded on every side of every corner of the 4 corners that stretch down East 38th. We couldn't receive commerce. Now, here's where it gets interesting, Joe. They allowed gangs and different people who came up here to rob our community, and the police. They never came to our aid. There are business owners being extorted. I was extorted. Some of the business owners have been shot because they failed to make payments to the people who were claiming to protect our area from getting burned down. The city knew all of this, he said.
This is the direct fault of the mayor and the city council.
100%.
And it is, you probably have never driven through there, or have you?
I've driven by once post. I've had no reason to go there otherwise.
It is despicable. It's
not recently.
It's a dump. Mm-hmm. It's worse than it has been. There's been no apparent. It's what's the word we got? Was it malevolent idleness or what?
That rings a bell.
Yeah. Whatever. It's just there's nothing happening there. There's no hope. There's no promise of enthusiasm. There's no get up and go.
Look at how the city council has just, their heads have remained in the sand.
But we've spent $5 million of the people's money in Minneapolis to tinker with plans as this thing continues to become a dumpster fire, almost literally. And here's a guy who probably hung on as long as he could, but he's going to either have to start over or what. But he's not. Here's a taxpayer, a hardworking taxpayer from the neighborhood who's been ignored because the city council is comprised of professional activists who can't identify with hardworking taxpayers because they've never been one.
They're more worried about pronouns.
They've never been one.
And they've filed a motion to dismiss the case. It's funny when it comes to their their residents who are trying to earn a living, the city turns their back on them. If it would have been somebody who was shocked by having to witness the death of George Floyd, they would have written out a check for $500,000.
And it's having a domino effect in this sense. That's this Mr. Reed closing up his shop. There goes that property tax to the city of Minneapolis.
Right.
And the more this happens, the more property tax burdens will fall on homeowners until that money's gone and Minneapolis will be as destroyed as any city in the country.
You go property taxes, I go, what about sales tax?
Yeah.
If somebody had a detail, they'd probably get a $60 sales tax that went to the city.
Reed says the city is just straight up lying to him, just absolutely telling a lie. This final paragraph is really depressing. There's still barricades out there. I mean, the place looks like a war zone, Reed said. None of my customers want to drive down that street and see any of it. The city doesn't care. Tim Walz has never came to visit us. Mayor Jacob Fry has never come to visit us. We've lost our businesses.
Yeah, we've talked about this because Kenny knows the area, kind of grew up vaguely in that area. Not grew up.
Yeah.
Well, you had your home and your family there. Did you grow up? No, as a kid, you were up north.
Back and forth.
Yeah,
up here in Prior Lake.
But
and South
that
Minneapolis.
was a tableau of Middle America intersection.
My grandpa built and started and ran a butcher shop on that corner for many, many, many years.
And now it's an example of utter failure brought about by a city council that commits utter failures. And it's a crying shame.
But it's okay. So Minneapolis is a real city. They have real budgets. They have real problems. Why aren't these real problems being addressed? And why is it just being pushed back?
It's because we have children in charge.
Because ideology is more important to them than the reality on the ground. The reality on the ground is work. The ideology is work is essentially unfair.
But there's someone in Minneapolis, or there should be a city administrator that says,
You would think.
that's all great, fine, and dandy pronouns, but we still have to collect and raise taxes and put them toward social services for the city.
Well,
It can't be all.
Matt, where were the people at the state level who said giving all this grant money is fine and dandy, but we better keep track of it?
Those people
Agreed.
no longer exist.
I don't think these people exist anymore.
We're being run by activists.
You have people
with
now.
agendas.
You have people now in the state of Minnesota and the city of St. Paul who are angry that they've been called back to work instead of work from home. They're angry about it.
And
Well,
was
how
Walz
dare
giving them
you?
50% at least?
How dare you to expect us to come back and work 50% of the week in our offices?
Think of that. Think of that trickle-down effect. You know, St. Paul is in trouble because everybody left, but the mom-and-pop Subway shops or the eateries that were in the Alliance Bank building or Northwest or whatever, those people are all, it's just a trickle-down where they're toast, just like the detailer guy, Reed. Yeah, Ray.
If the people, wow, within the last 5 years, let's say,
Right.
the working from home was given the blessing of the Walz administration, and I suppose they could argue that was generally driven by the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
On this show, I was never given that option, by the way. Full disclosure. Let's get your ass in here.
Well, that's what we all did, except for me.
You were for a spell looking out for number one, and then you came out of the bushes there and said, okay, I'm ready.
No, if you'll recall, I was a little under the weather.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just derailed me now. Where was
How
I?
you doing now? You feeling okay? You look great.
I'm fine.
Okay, good.
If that trend was embraced and accommodated by mayors and governors, it's yet another reason why did this Mr. Daffy Duck sign off on the $1 billion new office building when you've got buildings downtown St. Paul begging to be rented? They would have walked 6 blocks to their office.
And the one
you could have run a shuttle.
The one you spent $5 to $6 million on for the morgue, State owns that.
Well, they sold it.
Oh, they did already?
Yeah, I think they sold it.
Got it.
But now we have to do where you want you back for 50% of your scheduled work days effective June 1st. You don't want that. You don't want to rush into it. You got to have a couple of months warm up time to figure out the route downtown.
That's a great idea. You could buy the Alliance Bank building for pennies on the dollar.
It's too late now. The $1 billion folly is already half up.
Wow.
Now, we're still going to give state employees the option to work from home when needed.
What does that say about the jobs that are out there that you don't have to be at a state office helping the public? Isn't that your impression that?
Well, if you have a state job where you have no contact with the public, I suppose you could easily work from home.
You mean the ones that are working on all the grants and handing out all the money?
Yeah, you can do that from your porch.
Apparently not.
The policy get this. The policy change exempts state employees who live more than 75 miles away.
You know what?
Well,
Go ahead.
That's
The gas is high. Stay
Now,
home.
just think about that for a minute. You're 75 miles away. You have nothing invested in the city in which you ostensibly work. For all I know, that's easily can be 75 miles away in Wisconsin. You're paying no property taxes. You're paying no income. You're paying nothing to the state of Minnesota. We're paying you, and you're at your hobby farm in
Birch Lake.
wherever, and you're processing I don't know what, but you can do it. I'm not saying you don't do it, but you do it. But you can stay home.
Well, did they?
You just stay home because you're 75 miles away.
But did they at one time have to commute?
Sure.
And then the pandemic hits.
Yeah, this working from home is post-COVID.
Well, I assume they did like I did when I was forced to work from home. I just moved my home from South Minneapolis to up here.
Right.
So I'm 155 miles away.
You know, St. Paul Mayor Melvin cracked down. He said last fall city workers are expected to work in person 3 days a week.
Oh, Mayor.
That's
He
a
doesn't
tough
even do
one.
that.
Starting April 1st, so this week.
What about him, though?
He works from his basement.
I don't know that
He doesn't
he
come in.
See, if I was mayor, I'd love to be in that.
You
big
got your own spot right there,
I'd
too.
have an office, I'd have my feet up on the desk. And,
Jeeves, get the door, please.
yeah,
Yes.
that would be great.
Yes.
I'd use the office.
You'd have a big pen like an inkwell. You dip
I'd
it in the
stamp
sign of
thing.
proclamation.
No, I'd have a stamp, too.
Oh, stamp, too.
Approved.
Approved. Denied.
Denied.
Grant denied. For
Grant denied.
food, your family.
Look at the time. I suppose we should. No, I don't have to take a break yet, do I?
Well, you would. If it's going to be warm, you'd want to know the place to go. Where do you go in Minneapolis? What street?
I passed it yesterday. Is it about 46 in Chicago?
Spot on, Joe. That is the Welter family. Welter
I
Heating.
saw the Welter building.
Online at welterheating.com. And Joe, as you well know, they are
No, I
garage
passed
logicians.
it Monday.
On Monday?
That's a fact-based show.
Thank you for adding that because people were wondering, did he go there Monday or was it Wednesday?
It was the same day I saw George Floyd Square. It had some other areas in that neck of the woods.
And then you went home to your nice, warm, palatial mini McMansion over there on 5th, right?
No, it's Maine.
And, Maine, I'm sorry. And it was nice and toasty warm. As a result, if you want to do the same thing Joe does and you don't want any heat troubles, well, then you get in touch with Welter. 4 generations, almost 120 years, and they have served the cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis in the metro area. Great people, again, garage logicians, and I want you to call them, and you'll talk to a human being during business hours, 612-825-6867, or go online to welterheating.com. There's a blog where you can get many different answers. I've done business with Welter. Yep. What they replaced in my home is still bright, shiny, and new and makes absolutely no noises. When I called them, the estimate down to the dollar, and they removed everything. They're great people. Rick and the entire operation at Welter, when you need to air condition your shelter or heat your shelter, remember the folks at Ray and Welter, welterheating.com.
cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
It's EcoFun Motorsports time. The weather is warming. It's going to be a great time to start riding your electric bikes. And EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake and Burnsville are the electric bike capitals of the world. If you have not been to that showroom at the Forest Lake location, you're missing a fun time. It's loaded with electric bikes, scooters, motorcycles, youth recreational equipment, snowmobiles, snow removal equipment, helmets, apparel, the service department, but a great, big, beautiful parking lot. And you can say you want the Recon Explorer mountain electric bike on sale for $26.99, normally $54.99. Woo! You say, Kaylin, get that bike outside for me.
Yeah.
We're going to test it.
Test ride it.
We're going to test ride it. You're going to show me all the correct fittings and get the right handlebars, the right tires.
There's nobody that knows more.
It's the electric bike capital of the world. It's a really, really a fun store at EcoFun Motorsports. It's in Forest Lake / Columbus. It's on Highway 97, immediately west of the interstate, and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. And a great, great website at ecofunmotorsports.com. I was reading that protesters have crashed a school board meeting in Minneapolis. Well, it was last night. They crashed a finance committee meeting.
Okay.
Several directors were listening and asking questions to department heads about how to handle a $75 million budget shortfall. And
$75 million?
Yeah, and I just got to thinking, we shouldn't live this way. We shouldn't have to live with every aspect of our public life held in suspicion and question.
Okay.
It's tiresome. Why are you $75 million down, school board? What you shouldn't be. Why state of Minnesota is there a $6 billion deficit? It shouldn't be.
Who reports that there is a $75 million shortfall? Is that put together by
the school board finance committee? Superintendent Dr. Lisa Sales-Adams was quick to point out that the largest reductions, meaning I guess reductions they're attempting to manufacture, are expected to come from the central office. But the potential cuts to special ed have parents and staff sounding the alarm. They always go after special ed.
Yeah.
So that's where you get the protesters.
That's easy pickings.
The protesters demanded the directors sign a pledge that they won't pass a budget that includes staff reductions, class size increases, and to reinstate any positions already impacted. You're already suffering a declining enrollment.
Yes.
Why? There should be no threat of class size increase. Why does this happen? The latest Association of Metropolitan School Districts survey finds that nearly 50 local districts face a combined $280 million shortfall due to fewer funding streams and failing enrollment.
So
we don't want to live like this. What, you people, have you ever budgeted correctly?
No, they always budget high, and then they ask for more the next year. It's a good union trick.
The presentation last night mostly surrounded allocations to the district's departments and reductions to some of them. That includes human resources, communications, and legal services. The changes could impact custodians, food service, and tutors as costs continue to outweigh revenue across the state. Well, as you saw the enrollment declining, you should have been scaling back to keep pace with it.
Okay, you need custodians to turn the boiler on and sweep
They're
up.
always going to scare you with the lady with the hairnet in the cafeteria
That's the food services.
and the custodian. They're always going to throw that at you.
Custodians got to be trained on mishap, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to throw that stuff down there to pick up. But then what? You don't hear anything about the upper administration maybe taking some cuts.
Way too top heavy.
Right.
There's too many assistants to the assistants.
You need less to sweep up the floors and clean the toilets. You need Flo to make the chimichangas for lunch.
I don't want to be sympathetic to you school boards coming crying to us every year. Get your act together.
Yeah.
Budget correctly. Don't keep singing this same song to the public year after year after year. Oh, we're short on the budget. There's not enough to spend on the children. You're full of bleep. You get enough money, and you don't do a damn thing to be careful with it. Either does the state, either do the cities, and so goes the schools.
I just have one question.
Yes.
What is your definition of a mishap, Matthew?
Can I answer that?
Please, sir.
Because a mishap to me is the greatest euphemism I've ever seen for a product that one sprinkles when some kid just threw up on the floor. It's just that grit you put on oil.
It absorbs.
Yeah,
it absorbs everything.
Yeah.
As soon as you said mishap, I haven't smelled this stuff since 1982.
Yeah.
I got the scent in my nose right away.
It's
You
my
gotta-
favorite. It's my favorite. You're the one that brought that to me. That's what it was called decades ago.
I remember for some reason I had some little brats at Valley Fair.
Okay.
And for some reason there was a sign near one of the rides
Oh.
that said mishap bucket. And so I had to make an inquiry. I said,
Yes.
what the hell? Well, that's if there's an accident, and I quickly figured out what they meant. So that's when some kid gets off the log roll or whatever and heaves his guts out. They dump a bunch of mishap on it, and then you don't have to walk in it. But schools have mishap.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Somewhere there's a guy living on Jupiter Island because he's the mishap
Invented
king.
mishap.
He invented mishap.
Invented mishap.
Schools, go cry somewhere else. You do it. What's the point? What really? You know what? What is the point?
Exactly.
There is no point.
Thank you.
It's just, there's just no point. There's just no damn point.
Paul, there's all sorts of new products out there. Smellies, Super Sorb. There's Smart Shaker. There's all sorts of many different names for those things. Cleanup kit. Ew.
Matt.
I like mishap.
Matt.
Yes, Joe. Is the water warm enough?
No.
Yes, Lisa. Shall we begin? Near. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate that.
You know, Matt, that you're losing.
My mind.
Well,
Your job.
You don't tell me.
let me tell you something.
Yeah. Your job.
You're losing 50,000 of your brain cells every day.
I think I'm cooking a few more than that.
And if you're over 50,
I
which
am.
you are, and you forget a name or misplace your keys or just feel foggy, that means your brain cells are dying off even faster.
Damn. I just got a clean bill on my brain, too, recently.
Well, Stanford University neuroscientists have identified a cell invader that attacks cells in the memory center of your brain, which
It's
is called
tequila.
it's called the hippocampus. I love that local group, those kids, Hippocampus. I don't like the name Hippocampus, but
No,
I like
but
the band.
They were neighbors of ours in Woodbury.
Right. And apparently this cell invader causes your brain to shrink, but there is a solution.
What?
Now, I didn't watch the video because I hate getting trapped by those, but I saw this online.
Understand.
You pinch your ear.
Where at?
Well, see, that's what I don't know. I didn't.
You'd think you'd watch a 5-minute video to save 50,000 brain cells.
Well, it says it's an 8-second ear trick, but you got to watch some video, and I suppose they try to sell you
Is it the
something.
Carol Burnett deal?
Look
Say
it up.
goodnight to her mom?
Why don't
Okay.
you go on the thing?
Pinch your ear to not lose brain cells.
Matt, go on the internet and go to, well, I guess I don't even know where to tell you to go.
No, I got it.
And it clears your brain if you pinch your ear in some way. Then you get a memory boost, and I don't know where you're supposed to to pinch it. It's an 8-second daily ritual of pinching your ears.
8-second ear trick for a sharper memory. This is a YouTube video, but
Okay.
let me see. Here's another wellness blog. Pinching your ears boosts circulation and reduce anxiety. Did you know?
Where at? Earlobe?
Let's see. Key
Squeeze it.
takeaways. Let me find. I'm going to scroll down. Ear pinching applies pressure to ear points and comes in traditional Chinese medicine. It doesn't tell me where.
Well, do the 8-second trick on YouTube, which you glossed over.
Oh, I'm going to have to sit through a video, I bet.
No, it's an 8-second trick. If you have to sit through a video, we won't do it.
All right.
Because
we'll
I'm
see.
not falling for that BS. They want to sell you some vitamin or something.
All right,
I really
here's an
can't
ad.
believe you brought this up because I read an article this morning.
I brought it up because we all need to pinch our ears.
I brought it up this morning about the surprising benefits of a drug that everybody thinks is evil. There's 10 benefits to this drug. Number 1, it helps with Parkinson's disease. This drug helps in protecting against Alzheimer's. It helps for ulcerative colitis. It helps enhance memory. It lessens symptoms of Tourette's. It helps control ADHD. It helps with schizophrenia. It relieves depression. It combats obesity. And it will stop the onset of arthritis. You know what this drug is, Joe?
No.
You'll never guess.
Aspirin.
Nicotine.
What?
Nicotine.
Jeez.
Yeah, nicotine.
Nicotine is a wonderful drug. I do
It
know
is.
that. It's the way you take it that's the trouble.
It's everything else in there.
Yeah.
Plus just the physical act of smoking is what makes it really difficult to kick.
But
Now, I
you've
gave you a
successfully
lot of-
done that.
So far.
Yeah.
But I do plan on going back eventually. Matthew, we've given you enough time, please.
Well, this was a trick because at the end of the video, she says, click on this to watch, so she doesn't show
Then
me.
never mind. Never mind.
But obesity, Joe, I've gained 100 pounds a month since I quit smoking 2 years ago. Seriously.
Well, think of what smoking did, though. You'd rather smoke than eat.
Made me happy.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to...
Just happiness,
Well, let's
that's
not
all.
eat yet. I got another cigarette.
No, I would rather be miserable and angry my whole life.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate that. Ear pinching techniques for immediate relief. There are several ear pinching methods for quick headache relief. Learning these techniques can be a big help in managing headaches
It's going to be a long
naturally.
story.
Matt, cut to the chase.
The lobe pinch.
Okay.
I hate the lobe pinch. Can be painful.
I'm doing it right now.
Pinch the earlobe with your thumb and forefinger.
I got her.
For 10 to 15 seconds.
Yep.
This can easily ease tension headaches.
I don't have a headache.
Number 2, the outer ear massage.
Outer ear.
Matt, there's
Massage,
something in my earlobe. Something
wax. You're like
crunchy.
Shrek. You could have a candle made.
No, in the lobe itself.
It's probably just a tumor.
Inside, like the size of a pea or something?
Yeah, like there's a BB in there. or
Well, that's,
something.
something we're not
Probably
going
got
to
hit
worry
when you were a
about.
kid. Outer ear massage. Massage the outer ear with your thumb and index finger in small circles. This is great for cervicogenic headaches.
Hello.
See, this is all headache curing. I don't have a headache.
Upper ear squeeze. Squeeze the upper ear firmly for a few seconds. This can help with migraines by relaxing muscles and improving blood flow. This is all
Don't pull
headache
on my
stuff.
ears. I know what I'm doing.
The double ear pull, only to be used as a last resort if no one is complying.
The what? That's not in there.
No, that's not in there. I made
Get
that one
ready
up.
to be slapped.
I made that one up, yeah. Right. Yeah. It makes your reaction time much better.
Are you done with that?
Yeah, I don't see anything else.
Then you're
up,
done
Joe.
talking.
It's all headache.
Tom Wilson has a great point. How is it that the same kids who are too young to read The Kite Runner need to be told about their transgender options? Isn't that a great
Wow.
point? Isn't that a great point?
Email of the year so far.
Lisa, what are you nodding at?
Agreement.
Lisa writes she has a ray of hope. Oh, shoot. She said, don't use my name.
Whoopsie.
Her name
Lisa
is
Wilson?
No, her name is Nancy.
Oh, Wilson.
She's with Heart, isn't she? The group Heart.
Yeah, I think so.
But which one is which? Which one plays the guitar? Which one sings?
I never figured
The
that
thin
out.
one plays the guitar. The big girl is
That's the way they like to be called. The Big Girl Tour. The
It's
Thin
like
Girl and the Big Girl
1952 in
Tour.
here. It's just unbelievable.
Excuse me.
Anne. Isn't there Anne and Nancy?
Yeah.
I think Nancy's the big girl. I don't know. What do I care?
She sure can sing.
This
We can't go on.
This Nancy wrote, in the midst of Minnesota's Debbie Downer current news stories, here's an inspiring story of resilience. Grand Rapids, Minnesota native, 22-year-old Easton Fothergill. What a great
Easton
name.
Fothergill. He's
He's right out of an English estate.
Yes.
Easton Fothergill.
All the way down to the bad teeth.
No, Matt.
Yes, Easton.
Easton Fothergill not only won the Bassmaster Classic last weekend, he set an all-time tournament weight record.
Woo!
I think he had 75 pounds. His story of resilience is less than 2 years ago. He underwent emergency brain surgery, and he went on to win his college tournament. There are fishing scholarships for college. Did you know that?
That's brilliant.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome.
And this kid won. What did he win? Well,
What'd I win?
He won the Bassmaster Classic. I think that's Bassmasters is a pro tour, I think.
You got that right, Chief.
And you'd have to go and find it yourself, the story. But this kid had a brain problem. He overcame that. I think this was obviously in the South. We weren't doing this right here. But here, Easton, Easton, Easton Fothergill, Fothergill. Great story.
I love that.
Great story. Competitive fishing. And there's a fishing coach.
I love
The
that.
colleges have fishing
It's
coaches.
halftime. Hey, Mikulski, you're benched again. You didn't get anything. You don't even have the minnow on the hook yet.
What could the fishing coach possibly do?
You got to twitch it. Twitch it.
Yep.
Twitch it. That's how. Just nope. Don't
Let it
reel,
play.
nope,
Let
nope,
it play. Let it play out. Let it play out. Run with it. Run with it.
Twitch.
Think the coach has a megaphone.
What was
when he's
the
doing-
what was the name? Easton?
Easton Fothergill.
My kid was still young, 7. We pulled over at this awesome place to fish right next to the road. You just stand there, and the kid threw this plug right into the reeds, and I started in on him. Oh, what? Now, why did you go ahead? What's wrong with you? And bam, the biggest bass in the state of Minnesota
Right.
hit that
Really?
thing.
What do
And
you
he
know?
pulled that thing out. It was the size of a saw log. It was the biggest
Oh,
bass
God.
I've ever seen.
I'm just having a brainstorm.
Oh, squeeze your ears.
No, a kid with whom I am very familiar is on a high school fishing team
There are high school.
and does very well. This same kid his college plans are up in the air. How about going after a college fishing scholarship?
Absolutely.
There were
Huh?
twins.
Someplace
Yeah.
down south?
When I lived in
Yep.
St. Paul, there were two twin boys, and they both had a scholarship for fishing.
You're
Really?
kidding.
This was their Matthew's age. I don't know. Keenan
So
and
this
Julian, I
isn't.
don't know where they
This
are now.
didn't get invented yesterday.
This has been going on for a while.
Where is that email? I better not throw that away.
I wouldn't throw it away.
I have.
you don't-
I'm going to do a public service with that.
You don't have a problem with this then, Joe?
Not a bit.
How much beer do they have to drink?
If you can have college
All of it?
golf teams, you can have college fishing teams.
Yeah, right.
And finally, from Steve, hello, gentlemen. I have found myself with some free time in the morning during the rush hour and decided that I would sit in one of our wonderful-looking new $505 million gold line.
Oh,
This line runs from St. Paul to Woodbury and back again. New bridges and bus lanes painted red for the bus-only lane. I find myself watching the bus go by, some regular size and some extended size with the accordion in the middle. I sat for about a half hour believing I have seen enough buses go by. I can't wait to see the numbers this line says they have served by the end of the year. I have watched 5 buses go by, and unless people have decided to just lay down and sleep on the floor on the way to St. Paul, I counted 3 people.
oh,
Just more proof we are having things shoved down our throats that we don't want and are a major waste of the taxpayers' hard-earned dollar. Amen, brother.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
You know what else I'm amening? My garage floor. When I had my garage floor redone, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
I got to ask your garage
like the Taj Mahal.
floor guy a question.
Yeah, you do.
You set me up with the guy to talk to.
Innovative is going to take care of you, bro. They're one of the strongest, if not the strongest, warranty in the business. Commercial, industrial, residential, they do it all. How long have they been around? About 3 decades. They've been installing floors for over 30 years. One of the largest selections of product lines and floor systems. So they won't tell you what you need to have. They'll let you choose it. They polish concrete as well and install resinous systems. Showroom is in Blaine and very accessible. And not only they can install any floor system, they do it all with the price match guarantee. So you are set and ready. It's called Innovative Garage Flooring, 763-291-0110 or innovativegaragebflooring.com. Check out their videos. The floor is going to look like a palace. I love the fact that I changed out my garage a long time ago. And you know what? You will too. innovativegaragebflooring.com.
You know, only.
Oh, the Lyman's. Let's go.
Only because they come to us.
And they send you one today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They do every day.
I thought they missed a day.
No, Tom Lyman does not miss a day.
Okay.
Got that straight?
Yeah.
He's come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa, from the Traveling Lymans. It was on this day.
March 26th.
You're going to be Reavers?
Wow.
All right. I was pointing
Playing
at
the
the
part of Reavers
Stole
is the understudy, Kenny Olson.
My thunder. That was my big break, Kenny. You stole it.
Oh, he was sitting on it.
1804. Oh, I always have two versions of this because one doesn't print the whole sentence.
And Johnny Hite's not here to cover.
Present-day Minnesota, west of the Mississippi River, was included in the District of Louisiana to be governed by the Indiana Territory. Present-day Minnesota, west of the Mississippi, was included in the District of Louisiana to be governed by the Indiana Territory. Wow. Nearly a year later, on March 3, 1805, the region became part of the Louisiana Territory. All right.
Got it.
On this day,
March 26th, 2026, 1:33 Central Time.
Wow.
that's enough.
Very,
Just,
very accurate.
Just the
Right
date.
down to the point.
Just the date, Ross. Just the date. On this day in 1857, Inkpa Duta,
Ooh.
Scarlet Point is the name, and a band of Dakota attacked Springfield, now Jackson, in Jackson County. Settler colonists gathered in 2 cabins to defend the town. During the battle, 1 child died and several adults were wounded. This incident is part of the so-called Spirit Lake Massacre. Only 1 death actually occurred at Spirit Lake, Iowa. The failure of the government to capture Inkpa Duta encouraged or may have encouraged other Dakota to expect victory in the U.S.-Dakota War of 1862.
Okay.
I need to know more about that period. I'd like to read about the...
Tough
I should
period.
read about the U.S.-Dakota War.
Tough period. That was a rough one. I'm up on it. I'm kidding.
On this day...
This day, let's go.
The 26th day of March, year of our Lord, 2025.
in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
Uh-oh.
On this day in 1960, the Lakers lost their final game to the Hawks in the playoffs. The playoffs went to the St. Louis Hawks 4-3. And on this day,
This would be the 26th day of the month.
on this day in 2023, the Whitecaps lost the PHF championship.
Oh, the Whitecaps, we hardly knew ye.
What was that?
They were the
That was an
Minnesota
R&B
Whitecaps, the
group.
female.
Professional hockey?
They
out
preceded
of
the
Detroit.
Frost. What do they know?
Yes.
The Frost.
Good
Yeah.
call, Rook.
Yeah.
Well, what's PHF?
P-
Professional hockey what?
Women's Professional Hockey League?
What's F?
Female.
Professional Hockey Female Championship?
I don't know.
Don't. You know what? You're just doing
I
that.
will say that the Whitecaps were the original that was run by Mr. Broat. And Chelsea Broat was on the team. Winnie Broat was on the team.
Broats. Why do I know that name?
You know the Broats because they're a very Winnie Broat is a former Olympian, and she
Hockey player?
Yeah. And they're from Roseville. And my nephew Craig Rosenthal married Chelsea Broat,
Hey,
who was on the Gophers.
Ross, do you have the time in the temp?
Thank you, G.
Am I
Ellers.
being set up here? I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, can I get the time in the temp?
Wonderful to have spent time with you. I enjoyed it.
It really was nice today.
And I wish we weren't all losing so much money.
Oh. What are we doing? How's Zillow doing today?
Guess what, Brooke?
What?
I'm also going to take something off your plate unless you have something in closing.
No, go ahead.
Did you know, gentlemen, the 2025 Minnesota Golf Passport is on sale as we speak.
How do we get it?
As a card holder, you can golf 13 courses for just $99. That is a $450 value for just $99. Play great courses like the Elk River Golf Club, Bull Rush, Whispering Pines, Chamonix, Dahlgren, Golden Eagle, Legacy Golf, and so much more. 13 great courses, 13 rounds of golf, just $99 plus $10 from every card purchased will benefit the youth on course, youth golf in Minnesota. That is. Supply is limited. That is true. GarageLogic.com, keyword passport, just $99.